What you are about to witness is one of the most electrifying running backs in college football. If y'all want to see Nasir Swift take his journey into the NFL, I need 150 likes on this video, man. 150 likes, and Nasir gonna make his way to the league. Coming out of high school, man, your boy was a 4-star, and I decided to take my talents to the MAC in Eastern Michigan. Now, being a starter as a freshman is crazy, and I gotta keep it honest with y'all. That first game we had, man, I had so many nerves you couldn't even imagine. But at the same time, I wanted to come out and show the world what I could do. Now, our first matchup will be against UMass, aka U-Trash. And we wanted to come out of here with this dub, so it was time to lock in. And after talking with my head coach and offensive coordinator before the game, I was ready to go after them nerves went away. Coming out of high school as a 4-star recruit, I wanted to go to a school that would involve their run game a lot. And Eastern Michigan seemed like the perfect choice. I mean, they had a well-balanced offense, but the running back was a huge part of it. It was also brought to my attention that the offense needed somebody who brought the intensity. You know, somebody who brought a new type of fire to that offense. And hey man, if they needed fire, call me Johnny Storm. Flame on. Hey, this ain't the Fantastic Four, but the way I was balling this game, I was trying to get a fantastic score. And as the game went on, I continued to get highlight after highlight. And for my first time on the field, as a starter, as a freshman, I don't think I did too bad. But unfortunately, for UMass, they would be walking home with an L. And we would take the first dub of the season, 12-0. And the next game was going to be way harder than the last one, because we had to go against a juggernaut. Yeah, we traveled down to Washington, and we was going to have to play the Huskies. And let me tell you, that stadium pulse, that crowd, man, you could barely hear yourself thinking there compared to where we be playing. Compared to the last game, it felt like it was 5 times the people. So that means we got to put in 5 times the work. I ain't scared of nobody. Now, a lot of people look at smaller schools versus these bigger schools as a game where you just need to hurry up and get it over with if you're the smaller school. But for me, I seen it as an opportunity. Man, we finna be on the big screen, and I get to show what I can do in front of more people. So hey man, why not get excited about that? Of course, the score could be one-sided, but you never know who watching you while you out there, especially those Washington cheerleaders. Hey, if I'm lucky, they gonna meet me at the Hampton Inn tonight. But anyway, the game plan for this one, after a strong performance in the first game, coach was letting me rock. And I wasn't even a receiving back, but there were some plays where he would put me on a route and just tell me to make something happen. I always focus on being an elusive back. I feel like the more people I could make miss and the more tackles I could break, the more yards I could get. But my coordinator was preaching to me, hey man, we gonna go against some tough schools sometimes, so the run ain't gonna always be there. So for you to be a threat in multiple ways, you gotta get involved in the pass game. And speaking of the pass game, our QB threw a dime as we was the first ones to put a touchdown on the board. But the game was far from over. And I know I just said my coordinator was telling me the run ain't gonna always be there. And trust me, they was making it tough this game. But I was still having some nice carries here and there. Unfortunately, the passing game for me, it was up and down. Some of them was just bad throws, but other ones, I was just secure catching that mug, not trying to do too much, and moving us up the field. And before you know it, we had another touchdown on the board. It was passing, of course. I ain't getting that end zone yet, but hey, I'm a team player. As long as we score, I'm cool. And at this point, we had tied the game up with 2 minutes left to go, and then Washington had got a field goal. So in the clutch, coach put the ball in my hands to try to give us an opportunity, but unfortunately, we couldn't get in field goal range and get the extra 3 points to tie it, and we was gonna take an L to Washington. And even though we took a loss, hey man, that team was ranked, and we hung with them the whole game. So at that point, I felt like we could hang with anybody. And next up, we had a game against Jacksonville State, and I got a stiff arm off the rip. I don't know what it is, but every time I step on the field, bruh, I just feel more confident each time. It's kind of like the first time you perform with her, and she think you off a honey pack or something. Hey, you want to keep showing out every single time you do it. So in a sense, it's kind of the same thing, right? But another reason why I picked this school to play at, man, look at the field. I mean, going to play on a gray field is tough. It's almost as tough as the Boise State field, but I'll give it a close second. But in this game, by the time we hit the second quarter, I don't know what got into me, bruh. It seemed like every time I was toting the rock, I was getting the first down damn near every time. And the defense really had no answer for me. I mean, we was moving down the field with ease, smooth like butter. And I can't cap, I was trying extra hard this game. I mean, I had 2 good performances back to back. Now the only thing I was missing was an end zone trip. I was a little bit salty I didn't get one against Washington because I would have been popping it for sure. But home opener, hey, I gotta do it. So best believe I was telling coach, hey man, just give me the rock. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna get us there. And man, it seemed like the closer we got, the more them boys tried to take my head off. But eventually, I was able to slip through the cracks and get the first touchdown of my collegiate career. Your boy was a freshman on top of the world after that tutty, man. I was dancing in front of the whole crowd. And at this point, the game was already decided. I thought coach was gonna sub me out and I was gonna chill for the rest of the game, but he was like, hey Rook, go ahead and get you 100 of them things. So I was like, all right, bet. But I'm telling you, them boys at Jacksonville State already knew what I was on. They was trying their hardest not to let me get it, but eventually, the boy would complete that task. And we would be on to the next game after getting this dub pretty convincingly. And it would be another conference matchup against Kent State. A little bit better team, but it's the same mission, man. And I came guns blazing straight out the gate. I was not trying to play with these boys, I'm telling you. And like an obese person who just fell and hit the ground, your boy was rolling. This was actually my first time playing football in the rain. I mean, back in my hometown, it didn't rain that much when we played. And if so, it was just a little sprinkle or something. But it was damn near pouring down in this game. I'm telling you, I don't know if the gloves was making it better or worse, but I'm just glad I ain't have no fumble or nothing. Now, this was one of those low-scoring, super defensive games. So every possession we had, hey man, we had to make sure we took care of the ball and got as much yards as we could. And we thought we had it in the bag, but by the time the fourth quarter came around, man, Kent State went on a run. Next thing you know, we was looking at the score being tied up like a hostage. But 10-10, we had to go into overtime and try to secure the dub. And at this point in the game, I wasn't tired for real. I was actually feeling good. Wasn't banged up or nothing. I just wanted to walk out of here with a dub, bro. It was still raining. I was getting a little irritated. But on the crucial third down, all we needed was 1 yard. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make the right read. And for some reason, coach didn't want to give me another chance on 4th and 1. And that ultimately led to us taking the L to Kent State. In the game we really should have won, but hey, the show must go on. Now, I don't gangbang, but this game against Miami University, I was definitely repping GBG. Because we wanted to get back in that win column. I'm telling you, after failing to convert that first down on 3rd and 1 last game, I was so locked in this time around, you wouldn't even believe it. I wanted to go out there and hurt somebody, or put somebody on Sports Center top 10, whichever one came first. But same game plan, we was getting involved in the passing game, and I was breaking off for some nice runs. Not gonna lie, I was starting to find my groove as a freshman. And I was only a few games in, and I felt like I could be an All-American. That's not me being cocky either, because I definitely put the work in. And I'm a firm believer, hey, if you put the work in, trust in God, it's all gonna show at the end of the day. Just gotta believe. Now, if I was an Eastern Michigan fan watching this game, I would be heated. And I'm telling you exactly why. Now, your boy was doing this thing. I mean, I broke off for this monster catch, got some yak after that, and then it was another play where I got off a screen and almost nobody could tackle me. I mean, I was shifting through everybody. And the fourth quarter came around and it was 13-3, and then all you had to do was blink, and Miami University had 17 points on the board. And in the clutch, man, we ended up taking the L to this team because we could not get it done. I don't know what happened. I guess our defense just folded under pressure and we wasn't able to finish. Now, taking 2 back-to-back L's was not something we expected. But this game against Central Michigan, we needed to come in and get a dub, and it was crucial because we don't want the team morale to keep going down. So a win would be big for us. And you know me, man, I'm just doing the best I can to be the best back I can be, and I ended up breaking off for a huge run in this game. I'm telling you, man, it ain't gonna take me that long to figure it out. And once I figure the defense out, hey, what Juju say, man, it's barbecue chicken. At this point in the season, I couldn't count on my hands how many times I done juked the defender and made him look silly. I mean, it was an every game thing. I'm telling you, I would have like 30 jukes by the time it was all said and done. And before you know it, your boy was in the end zone for the second touchdown of my collegiate career. And that's always a good sign. When I get in the end zone, we got a better chance at winning. I'm telling you, I wanted to be the engine that kept this offense going. And no matter what it took, no matter how much work I had to do, I was gonna make sure that it happened. And it turned out that me scoring that touchdown would be huge because we would come out with the dub against Central Michigan, and we was back in that win column after taking 2 back-to-back L's. But the season ain't over, and we gotta keep moving forward. And we would keep moving forward on down to Akron, Ohio. You see, the thing about Akron, they wasn't that good, but as you can see from past games, we don't need to underestimate no team at all, because they could mess around and blow us out by 40. But what's also interesting about this school, they was my top offer. I mean, them boys wanted me bad, I'm telling you, they was doing everything to recruit me. But I ended up going to Eastern Michigan, and I know coming into this game, they trying to take my head off. And at first, I'll admit, they did have the ups on us 14-7. But like I told y'all, all we need to do is lock in and focus, and we'll be alright. Now I ended up getting another trip to the end zone, and I'll be honest with you, getting in the end zone was very important to me, but I was starting to look at my yardage per game. I mean, my dream is to be in the 1,000-yard back, and then eventually become a 2,000-yard back. So best believe every time I get the rock, I'm trying to get upfield, and I'm paying attention to that every single game. And I told y'all them Akron boys was coming to play. I mean, they kept it close all game. We thought we had it sealed, but they ended up making a late push, and in overtime, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was gassed. I don't know how I was still going. And I tried to give everything I could, but ultimately, Akron would end up coming out with the W by 3 points. Angry and frustrated ain't even the words, bruh. I'm telling you, at this point, I didn't even know what the team morale was like because we knew we could win these games and we was just underperforming. And it didn't help the next game we had to go against the #1 team in conference. And on the ESPN betting odds, we was actually projected to lose, so, I mean, hey, what can you do, bruh? And our fans was frustrated too. They didn't know whether to blame coaching or just the team as a whole. But in my opinion, I would say it's more so on the players than the coaching, but it does play a little bit of a factor. But I mean, we weren't playing to our full potential. I'm telling you, we had probably the most talented roster in the conference. That's how I felt, at least. And if you ask me my confidence level, for me personally, I already thought I was the best back in the conference after a few games. And game in and game out, I was kind of proving it. But let me tell you, the wear and tear definitely had an effect. If I could go back and redo my freshman year, one thing I would focus on a little bit more is recovery. Mind you, I was still a freshman in college and I always had the level of discipline I needed to have, but I also wanted to have fun too outside of football. And maybe some of those times I could have focused a little bit more on recovering because we had a game that week. And another tragedy in this game, besides the fact that we was losing the majority of it, I had the first fumble of my collegiate career. And man, even though everybody make mistakes, even some of the best athletes go through it, that mug felt detrimental to me, bruh. I ain't want to fumble the ball at all. And to make matters even worse, my legs started bothering me too. So toward the end of the game in the fourth quarter, I was basically just out there for blocking, bruh. Now luckily we was able to get into the end zone a second time, but the game was decided and we would take yet another L to the #1 ranked team in conference. But we had to move on because we had Ohio up next. Not Ohio State University, Ohio University. Thank God. But listen, I play my best football when I'm just chilling, calm, cool, and collected before the game. So I turned on the Michael Jackson playlist, listened to some old school smooth R&B as well. And by the time the game started, I was fully focused and ready to go. I remember this was also the game where I surpassed 600 yards for the season. So that K was getting closer and closer. And I was working for it, man, but y'all already know. And on this play right here, I got a head tap and then threw the defender off me like he was a little boy. And I still managed to get the first down. I'm telling y'all, man, if you watch my freshman year highlights, hey, I was doing some crazy stuff. And some of y'all might never know how it is when you a student athlete in college, man, especially freshman year. I'm telling you, the fine shit be everywhere and they do not be leaving you alone. But man, we was not trying to leave the end zone alone in this game. By halftime, we was up 2 scores, but at the same time, Ohio was not giving up yet. And like I've been saying this whole time, man, we gotta finish. But the fourth quarter will be where I come alive. On a simple outside handoff, I thought I was gonna end up getting a few yards, but I ended up hitting my head on the goalpost and got in the end zone yet again. Hey man, whenever you need me, call 1-800-HOUSE-CALL. And we got Ohio up out of there. But next, we had another conference matchup against Buffalo. We was playing in the snow, gang. Not only did the field look super tough in the snow, but I mean, this is what all the players want. Hard-nosed, cold-weather football. And I'ma keep it 2 stacks with y'all. It was cold as hell, bruh. I thought that rain game was bad, but this one might be worse. I forgot my long sleeve at the crib too, so I just had to thug it out all game. I thought I was gonna have a receiving touchdown early in the game, but the ball was a little bit underthrown and the defender got a nice pick on me. But luckily no points came out of that turnover, so I really wasn't tripping that much. Well, I'm capping, I actually was tripping because I wanted that touchdown, bruh. And that's mainly because I knew the season was coming to an end and I wanted all the stats I can get. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted that All-American award and I was really making the case for it. All season long I had been putting in the work and I had been impressing my head coach and offensive coordinator and my teammates too. Shit, I was impressing my family too. Even the husband at the crib was impressed. I mean, I was really impressing everybody, bro. And it was not easy at all. I've been trying to keep this story focused on ball, but if y'all knew all the other stuff that happened outside of it, man, you'll be wondering how I made it through. Just like I was wondering how we made it through Buffalo, but we was able to get the dub 10-7 and we was moving on. And I always think about my freshman year, bro. If we would have won some of those games and kept that momentum, maybe we would have gotten to the playoffs. And in this game against Western Michigan, straight out the gate, I broke off for a huge run and your boy was in his Duffy. Hey, no Lil Wayne though. But like I said earlier, man, when you need a highlight play, most of the time you can call on me. And this was also the game where I got damn near suplexed by one of the linemen. I can never forget about that. But I was serious about what I was saying earlier, because we caught fire at the end of this season. And if we was able to win a couple of those games, I damn near think we could have went undefeated. But one thing my pops told me is never get caught up in them woulda, coulda, shouldas. You gotta focus on the now. And now with that in the back of my mind, I knew we could carry that in the next season and possibly do something big. And speaking of big, we ended up getting a huge W over Western Michigan and we was moving on to our bowl game, bruh. And we ended the season strong and we won a couple of them things straight. Our team would end up competing in the Arizona Bowl and we would have to go against the Nevada Wolfpack. And man, I remember my freshman bowl like it was yesterday. Coming into that game, the energy was definitely there. We had a bunch of our fans there, a bunch of their fans there. It ain't no feeling like a bowl game, I'm telling you. And coach had us wearing the icy white unis too. And let me tell you, them things was crispier than your mama cooking bacon in the morning, bruh. But you know what they say, man. Look good, feel good, play good. Even though we wasn't competing for that conference championship, we had all the momentum in the world coming into this game. We wasn't super familiar with this team, besides everything we saw and went over on film. But that didn't matter. We was trying to come out of here with a W, man. And they put 7 on the board early. And your boy, I was tapping into my bag, really doing the usual. Making defenders miss, getting us down the field, and really putting the team on my back when I need to. Just another day in the office, man. You know me, I'm just clocking in, going to work. And it didn't take me that long to get into that end zone, bruh. When I scored, I'm telling y'all, the crowd got so loud, I couldn't even hear myself think. I really had a bunch of fans in this stadium. It wasn't like I was a superstar or nothing, but I could tell that they wasn't just team fans, they was fans of me. And I know the defense wasn't a fan of me either, because I just kept punishing them as the game went on. And with the score being 21-21, Nevada ended up getting a late field goal, and we would take a L in our bowl game. Hey, we fought hard to the end though. At the end of the season, I basically collected every award the freshman could win but the Heisman. So it's safe to say my freshman year was one for the books and I went crazy. But we were still on to the next. Now coming into my sophomore season, I must be honest, it did not go how I expected at all. I'm telling you. Let me paint the picture though. The first game of the season we had was against Texas State, and I was hyped, but I didn't play a single damn minute in this game. And that was because coach decided to move me down to the second string running back instead of the first string running back. Mind you, we had no new recruits, all returners, so it really wasn't making a whole lot of sense. And I ended up having to duke it out with the first string running back to get my position back, and I ended up winning the battle. So my first game of the season would be a huge one against Kentucky. No tune-up game or nothing. Just had to jump straight into it. And in my head, I'm thinking, bruh, you can't be serious. I gotta go against this tough team and I ain't even get a warm-up game. And on my first carry in the game, them boys lit me up like a scented candle. I'm telling you, they was on my head. The next play too. And the play after that, they was on my head the whole time, bro. I was getting dealt with. It took me a little second, but y'all should know me by now. Eventually, I'ma warm up and I'ma start making things happen. And in this game, that's exactly what happened. Cause after some of those detrimental stuffs at the line of scrimmage, I started to break off for some huge runs, and them Kentucky boys started to realize I was actually him. I just had to warm up. It's like a car in the winter, bruh. You don't just start your car and drive, you gotta let it heat up a little bit first. But I don't even think heating up is the proper term, cause after a while, your boy was just locked in and in the zone. I'm telling you, the defenders couldn't do nothing with me. I was making them miss. I was pushing them off me, breaking all types of tackles. It was already looking like my sophomore season was finna be one for the books. Believe it or not, this Kentucky game was scoreless for a long ass time. I mean, it was just two good football teams going at it, and the defense was really holding up on both ends. I mean, I had some early highlights, but our team still wasn't putting points on the board. Now, I did contribute to getting us in the red zone, and we just had to finish. And we ended up being the first team to put 6 on the board at the end of the third quarter. But mind you, we was hyped, but the game was far from over. Cause we still on their home turf, and it is a good team. And I knew they wasn't gonna lay down like that. Luckily, our defense had got another stop, and we was looking to get right back in the red zone and get right back in that end zone. And your boy, I'm telling you, I was making people miss like crazy. I had this dude falling, stumbling, really looking goofy. I hope his girlfriend ain't in the crowd, because if she is, she coming home on the Eastern Michigan bus tonight. I remember telling y'all last year, one of the main things I wanted to focus on was recovery. And man, like a dude who forget to wear rubbers, I was getting popped. I'm telling you, left and right, I was taking a bunch of different hits. And man, the wear and tear was right back where it was last season, it felt like. However, this year I got a little bit more muscle on me, so I'm able to take some of these hit sticks and keep on playing. And man, this was a crazy game. We was going back and forth with Kentucky all the way into overtime. And after the score was 21-14, we ended up getting a touchdown, getting a conversion, and we got them boys up out of there. And we got the upset win over Kentucky. Who would have thought Eastern Michigan would get an upset win over Kentucky? I'm telling you, man, it's unheard of. But right after that, we had the home opener of the season. And let me tell you, man, I don't play about them home openers, bruh. That's when all the fans come out. That's when the family come out. It's the first game of the season for your school. You gotta go crazy. If I wasn't on the field, I'd probably be tailgating with some of the fellow students. Hey, I heard that's a time. I ain't never get to do it though. And sadly, we was having a time during this game, cause before I knew it, we was down 14-0. Not the home opener we expected, and we definitely had to turn things around and try to get this W. But for some reason, we just never really got it to click on defense. Luckily, your boy was able to break off a route and secure catch that mug right into the end zone, bruh. Now, I told y'all I prefer to be a strictly elusive running back, but hey, let me find out I got some routes and catching ability in the bag and can be a receiving back as well. It's gonna be a problem for our conference once again. And in the second half, we was trying everything we absolutely could to try to get some offense going, but we was going against a good defense and they was holding it down. We was even able to get into the red zone a few more times, but we just couldn't finish. At the end of the day, it's all about capitalizing and putting points on the board. And this was some of the same things we struggled with last year, which is what worried me a lot. And unfortunately in this game, we would not be able to come out with the dub because the QB threw a detrimental pick that would basically seal the game in the fourth quarter. And just like that, them boys came into our house, put their feet on our couch, and sent us back packing to the dorms with an L. And to make matters even worse, the very next game, bruh, we had to go to Death Valley and go against Clemson. Mind y'all, after that first game, I was heated, and I ain't even look at the schedule like that. But I'm like, bruh, coach, how you gonna schedule us versus Kentucky and in Clemson within 3 games? Like, come on, bruh. But I ain't care who we was going against. I came out the gate, guns blazing. I broke off like 4 tackles on my first carry. Hey, that just goes to show you, bro, I don't fear no team and fear no man. What that boy D-Hop say? I fear God, boy. Toting that rock and we ain't gonna stop. On this carry, I slipped through the crack and got loose on the ops. I'm trying to tell you, man, the boys can't do nothing with me out here. This was a way better start than that Kentucky game. I wasn't getting suplexed or nothing. I was actually doing my thing, getting about 10 yards per carry, really putting the team on my back. But I guess Clemson saw the film and they was like, if y'all think y'all finna come in here and do what y'all did to them to us, you out your mind. But it still didn't stop me from breaking a bunch of tackles and moving the team down the field, bruh. Man, listen, when I put on them smooth tunes pregame, I'm locked in the whole way through. The other team might as well just hang it up, bruh, because I'm coming to get 100 yards, 100 receiving yards, 100 rushing yards. It don't matter. I'm trying to get 100. And even though it was 6-14 early and they created some turnovers and the Clemson crowd was definitely in their hype, we ended up going on a run and we had the lead for a little bit, 15-14. It was still 4 minutes left to go in the quarter though. And I'm telling you, I was taking a lot of hits, bro. They was on my head. And we fought to the very end and almost got the dub, but Clemson ended up pulling through. Next thing you know, we had another matchup against our rival, Western Michigan. And if y'all remember anything about last time we faced them, I was doing my thing toting the rock. And ain't nothing changed this game, bro. They are rivals and we always have good matches with them, but like Kayell West, I'm trying to go crazy. I ain't playing with these boys. Pretty soon we was in that red zone at the end of the first quarter and your boy would get straight in that end zone for 6. I was really doing it all at this point in my career. I was a threat receiving and rushing, and the defense really didn't know what to do. And it's not like we have other good receivers on our team, so when you put me on the outside, you better be worried. I also got a little bit faster too. I don't know what it is with my first step, but I could just break off easy and get some more yards. I couldn't really do that last year. I guess it's some of the plyo drills I worked on over the summer, but I got some more speed to me for sure. Now, coach also incorporated a lot more screen passes into the offense this year. And them mugs was working for me, I'm telling you. I would switch from inside handoffs, outside handoffs to screen plays, and it would just scramble the entire defense. And if I was gonna get to the level I was trying to reach, hey, I needed as many touches as I can get. But as this game went on, I realized, as well as I'm performing, it really don't matter if we not winning games. And we was trailing for a long time in this game, and we just couldn't seem to get over the hump. I even had the opportunity to put 6 more points on the board, but I ain't get the job done. And I'm telling y'all, bro, the ghost of last year is haunting us, man. And here I am thinking we gonna come into this season, possibly go undefeated, and I have no trouble at all. But at this point, I ain't know if it was a program thing, if it was just the players we had on this team. I really ain't have no answer for nothing. All I knew was there was a bunch of teams that weren't better than us, but somehow they was beating us. No matter how many huge runs I broke off for, no matter how many amazing throws the QB made, or how many amazing catches the wide receivers made, we was still taking L's. I mean, who would have thought we would start off 1-4, bro? I thought we was gonna trend upwards, cause this start was worse than the one we had last year. But the best thing I could do to keep my sanity, bro, was just to go out there and play as hard as I can. I still felt like I was the best back in the conference, and it wasn't even a question. And them highlight plays, they did not go anywhere. My special ability, it did not go anywhere. I just want to win though, bro. I had my goals that I had for the season. Of course, the yardage, the touchdowns, and all that. But I still want a conference championship before I graduate. But that's hard to do, man. You got to have all team members on the same page. And sometimes that ain't always the case. And some teams, they're never able to do it. Everybody can't be a conference champion, bro. And everybody can't break off for nice runs like that. But me, I'm just a different breed. And this game would go into overtime, man, against Northern Illinois. Who would have thought? And we actually ended up getting the touchdown that we needed, but we failed to get the 2-point conversion, and Northern Illinois would end up beating us, and it would be another L up on our record. And the tough matchups did not stop, because we had Ball State up next, and before I could even collect my thoughts, blink, or eat breakfast, we was down 14-0. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, how did that happen so fast? It wasn't even the end of the first quarter yet, and we was down 2 scores. I just knew we had to turn something around. On the bright side though, I kept it in house for a little bit, but at this point in the season, I was getting 100 yards every single game. I mean, it was a routine thing. So me being the 1K back was looking more and more realistic. And just when I thought things couldn't get worse, pick 6. And we ain't even gonna talk about the rest of the game. Just know we got our ass kicked. On to Kent State it was. But like I was saying, not only was I getting 100 yards a game, that was my average. So it wasn't just flat at 100, bro. I could break off for 130, 150. Not 200. I ain't there yet, but trust me, I will get there. But if it's anything you need to know about Kent State, they always play us tough, bro. And they gonna make us work for every play, every yard. And that's exactly what this game was. Once again, around the third quarter, it's really the same story, bro. We find ourselves down all the time. But luckily, broke off for a nice route, and I got up in that end zone to tie the game up and give the team a fighting chance. From a team standpoint, this season was going terrible. From a personal standpoint, I was going absolutely insane. There was even this one play where we ran a simple screen, and I turned it to Houdini and brought that mug all the way to the 20. Not to mention I also stiff-armed the hairline off of somebody, but that's besides the point. Like I said, man, performing. We was back in that red zone 14-14. And me in that end zone was once again friends. And I had 2 for this game, man. Really going crazy. And I just had started to get to the point where I could get multiple touchdowns in the game. I told y'all as a freshman, I'm a firm believer that the work is gonna show. And right now, the work is definitely showing. It's showing out. It's overshowing. At this point in time, getting 1 dub wasn't good enough. We needed to go on a win streak. And we needed to go on one bad. And what perfect team to test us in Toledo. Last year, them boys was the best in conference, and they still got a solid team. So coming into this game, we just wanted to prove that we could compete with them just like we did last year. And once again, your boy was in that end zone. I'm telling y'all, man, I might have to get married to it as much as I touch it. Of course, we was going to establish the run like we always do, but coach said the game plan for this one was to move the ball through the air. So I was also heavily involved in the passing game. And that played out to be a good thing because during this one, man, I was taking a whole bunch of hits, bro. By the time the end of the game came, I felt super fragile, bro. I felt like one more hit and I was going to be out for the season. Of course I'm exaggerating, but bro, you do not understand. Everybody want to be a star running back who get a lot of carries, but not everybody want to take them hits that come with it. But speaking of come with it, the entire ball game, we came with it on the offensive end. The thing that killed us last year is that we couldn't put points on the board against these dudes when we played them. But this time it wasn't a challenge. And once again, we had a game where your boy was in the end zone multiple times. And at the end, all we had to do was a QB kneel and we was going to run up out of there with a clear, convincing W. And all in all, I had a good day. 97 on the ground with 2 touchdowns. Not to mention what I did receiving. But at the end of the year, even though the season was a little disappointing, we ended up getting another bowl game. And you always got to be grateful for that. Only this time, it was against Troy. After coming up short in our last bowl game, bruh, we did not want to lose this one, man. We went through a tough season with plenty ups and downs. Can we at least end it off with a bang, bruh? And even though I was going to war with my team once again in a bowl game, there was a major question mark on if I would return next year. See, at first it started at the beginning of the season, but as the season went on and we kept taking more L's, I truly gave it some thought. And the way I was performing, I knew I was going to be able to have at least a few offers next year that would put me at a better school. At this point, it was all about what I wanted to do with my career and where I wanted it to go. And this bowl game definitely pushed me over the top because once again, I was having an all-star type of performance and the defense really couldn't do nothing with me. And it didn't take that long for me to get in the end zone in the first quarter, man. I know what you're gonna say. It sounded like a routine type of thing, but hey, I'm just doing work, bro. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. But like I was saying though, if I hit the portal, I'm definitely gonna have some offers, but it's all about what I want to do. Do I want to finish my entire career at Eastern Michigan? I mean, I could and be a hero for the school, maybe hold some of the school records. But if I want to make it to the league and be a professional, it might not be that likely. But it's likely that I'm gonna get in that end zone again for the second time off of a smooth little route, little receiving touchdown, nothing major. And the crowd was hyping there, man. Troy fans versus the Eastern Michigan fans. Talk about a crazy atmosphere. And with the score being 14-10, we wanted to keep our foot on their neck and keep things happening. And man, they was moving me all over the field. I was in the backfield. I was out wide. The defense really didn't know what to do, man. And that's how it was all season. And of course I was making them boys miss, making them boys look crazy. I'm talking Sports Center top 10 type of crazy. I'm talking about put them on TikTok type of crazy. Put them on X type of crazy. Instagram Reels type of crazy. And it's also crazy that I got a third touchdown for this game, man. Going ballistic, haywire, whatever you want to call it. I'm for sure gonna have the Huzz turning into some super soakers after this one. Talk about one for the history books. I'm always thanking God to be in this position though, man. Where I started as a freshman versus where I'm at now, considered one of the best backs in college football, is truly a blessing. And it took a lot of hard work, a lot of patience, and I really just had to accept the grind and trust the plan. God's plan. Hey, somebody put that on a t-shirt, bro. It's gonna sell out one day. I promise you. And even with an insane performance, we was not able to pull out the dub in our bowl game once again. We only lost by a point. It was a bit of a fluke and we should have won, but hey, what an end to a up and down season. And now it was time for me to make my decision. After a super long discussion with my friends and family, I decided that it was time for me to leave Eastern Michigan and explore my options. I wanted to play for a D1 that was a little bit more competitive. It would give me a better shot at making the league, and eventually, I landed up in Tennessee. There were some nerves and I did not know what to expect, but at the end of the day, we got to put in the work to achieve the ultimate goal. Junior season was finally upon us, and let me tell you, your boy was ready. Now, I don't want to sound corny when I say this, but new year, new team, but it's the same beast on the field, bruh. Ain't nothing changed. And this was going to be a completely different experience. I went from the MAC to the SEC. I'm talking about crazy competition, and every game is really going to be a dogfight. I mean, we got the first game up against Nebraska, and them boys do not play. They the Cornhuskers, man. I ain't even going to talk about the other teams we going to have to see. We going to address that problem when we get there. But your boy was looking to make a statement this game. I broke off for a huge run that I almost took to the house. I couldn't get the stiff arm off and they tackled me, but if I did, everybody in that stadium would have heard what I had to say. Best believe. But I was on this team with a lot of stars, man. We had stars at almost every position, and I was almost just like a missing piece. And there was a lot of people who still question why I went to Tennessee after I committed. But hey, man, the coach said he needed a dog at running back, and I was the best one who decided to volunteer. Get it, volunteer? Come on, man. But we was gonna walk out of Nebraska with that W, man. And we got the W pretty convincingly. And talk about me having a day. I didn't get in that end zone, but I basically put up a $140 on the ground. Hey man, I'm letting the SEC know it's a new running back in the conference, and whoever the best is, hey, this town ain't big enough for the both of us, brother. Whatever I had to do to take that crown, I was gonna do it. And in the next game against Florida State, we just kept the ball rolling. Ran a little simple screenplay, and I ended up taking that mug all the way to the crib. Hey man, this was like the first time I had a touchdown in my first 2 games my whole career. So that spells out for a good start. And I was definitely going to chase that Heisman this year, man, especially after what I did last year. Finally reaching a K. Hey, I'm going for 2K now. And I ain't talking about NBA or WWE. Come on, man, keep up. And in the early stages of this game against Florida State, we thought we had it in the bag. But next thing you know, them boys got a safety, which made it 14-2. And then after that, they basically just started taking off. They were scoring points here and there, and I was still doing my thing, of course. Really just trying to put the team in the best position to score. And the defense was not ready for what I brought to the table. I told you, man, new conference, but it's the same beast. And they ain't met that beast yet. And it also didn't help that the QB threw a costly pick in the second quarter. One thing that could definitely hurt this team is turnovers. But the sad thing is, it did not stop there. On the very next possession, that boy threw another pick. So that was 2 turnovers back to back. And I'm going to keep it a bean. Even though we was ranked at this point in time, if it's one thing that people will say about us, is that our QB makes questionable decisions, as well as our offensive coordinator and coach. But we ranked, so a lot of people ain't going to talk about it. But Florida State flipped the script so fast, man, it's crazy. We was up 14-0, and then them boys just went down and scored 23 straight points. And at this point, it didn't matter what I could do. I mean, I ended up getting in the end zone again, thank the Lord, but it wasn't going to be enough, man. Of course, I was getting hype in front of the fans, you know. We got some new gunk in the crowd, new school and everything. But sadly, we would take the L 21-33, and we would start off our season 1-1. But next up, we had that home opener. And my first time running into that stadium, man, it was completely different. I'm used to them home games at Eastern Michigan, but they had a whole tradition here, and it was lit, bruh. And it was about 100 times louder than I could have expected. They even had the OG dog running out before we did. I thought that was pretty dope. And everybody lined up into a T. After I seen that, I'm like, all right, we gotta go crazy now. And we would end up facing a team that was very familiar with me, and I was very familiar with them. Good old Western Michigan. I know their coach was expecting to see me again, but not on the SEC team. I know that boy jaw dropped when he seen it. Now, I done had a lot of classic battles with these boys, but at the end of the day, it's the same mission every time I see them. I'm trying to get them up out of there with ease, as I stiff arm one of their defenders with ease, and then next thing you know, your boy was in that end zone in the blink of an eye. And it happened so quick, man, you thought it was a lie. We was really hurting them boys, made the Western Michigan fans cry. And we was cooking as well. I'm talking about not bacon, but stir fry. I felt bad because since these was my old rivals, a lot of these boys was coming in this game worried about me, but they had no idea the offensive onslaught that they was about to endure, bruh. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure we scored on almost every drive, if not every drive. It was getting sad, man. And the offense was really going back and forth. I mean, they let the receivers eat, and then they hand the ball off to me. And of course, you know I try to do my thing, making defenders look something crazy, like they don't even belong on the field with me. And that's exactly what I wanted to do, man, separate myself from the competition. But I don't even know if I could call these boys competition. I could really call them my sons. Next thing you know, another end zone trip. Huz going crazy in the crowd, man. Wait till the game over, man. Just meet me at apartment 10. Never mind. I can't even drop my location because they might get the faking, so I'ma just let them see me at my occupation, man. By the end of the third quarter, it was 28-3, and we did not show no signs of slowing down, man. If I was that Western Michigan coach, I would find a white flag, a white cloth, and throw it as soon as possible. I'm telling you, call the Air Force, the military, the Navy. Somebody need to come stop this game for y'all, bruh. And we was right back in that end zone again. I looked up, man, and I seen the mascot getting turned in the crowd. That's how I knew this school was different, man. This is one of the best decisions I've made ever. But your boy was in the end zone for it. I lost count, bruh. Just know I was getting to it. And these boys, hey, man, start the buses, bruh. Just start the buses, man. But as you can see, we got the dub pretty easily. Talk about BTA. And your boy ended up putting 218 on the ground with 3 tutties. I'm on Heisman watch, bro. I'm telling y'all, I'm hunting for it. But we will then move on to Baylor. Another game at home, and damn near the first play of the game we got in the end zone, bro. I told y'all this offense was lethal. I mean, we ranked for a reason. I felt real comfortable in this offense because it was similar to Eastern Michigan, just because of all the screen plays and runs that they had. But it's like they plays were a little bit more diverse, and we had a little bit more variety. It wasn't so simple. I wasn't doing the same thing every time, and hey, man, that made the defense head spin. I wasn't going to be satisfied until the defensive coordinators had nightmares about playing me the next day. That's how locked in I was. And against Baylor, the offense was moving swift like Taylor. Before you could even blink, 27-0, man. The game was basically over, and the whole arena was turned. We was treating these boys like they was some little kids, man. And you know I had to get my end zone trip in, man. It's a must. Heisman Award I am chasing. To the award I'm racing. When you see me with that visor on, it's not a mask. I'm not Jason. Now in the fourth quarter, we was up 34-0. The game was already decided. And coach basically told me you can stay in and get your carries if you want to add to your yardage. And I don't know why I did that, because, hey man, them boys be hitting in the SEC way harder than the MAC. Next up, we had Texas A&M, and I came straight out the gate trying to break away and hit my head on the goalpost, man. Like I mentioned earlier, though, in like the first game, every team we see is going to be a dogfight, bro. This conference get crazy. So I got to put on my best effort every single time. And them boys weren't playing with me at all. I know y'all just seen me get hit stick something crazy. But man, I was starting to become a master at breaking tackles. It was to the point where every time I would meet up with somebody, the first tackle was always going to get broken. And on this one, I broke 3 tackles on my way to the end zone as I made a crazy play. that I could just add to the highlight reel, man. The fireworks is up, 7 more points on the board, and the offense is rolling like a locomotive. After absolutely destroying our opponents the past 2 games at home, this was a pretty humbling experience because we was going against a much better defense, and they was making a stand. And the score was stuck at 17-10 for a long ass time, and we didn't know if we was gonna be able to break away. And we was trying everything, bruh. I was on the ground trying to make something happen. He was trying to make something happen through the air. But ultimately, we just ran out of time, bruh. And them boys ended up taking the dub by 3. But it's all good though, cause we got plenty more games left to play. And everybody locked in and ready to go. Pretty soon we had to go see Auburn. And I had to bust out the all black long sleeve for this one, cause we busted out the black unis. I thought it was a clean little combo. And man, I was getting active in the passing game early. We already knew they defense was like that, so it wasn't gonna be a lot of holes for me to run through. So I had to get active in that passing game if I wanted to score. And just like that, I did. I'm telling y'all, man, at this point I'm a junior. I've accepted that receiving back role a little bit. I could still be an elusive back strictly like I want to be, but in order for me to reach my true potential, my full potential, I got to do what I got to do. And y'all already know what I'm chasing at this point. I ain't even got to say it. But man, I was making a lot of receptions for a lot of big gains this game. Auburn really had no answer for me, bruh. And it's seeming to become that way every single, y'all know the routine, man. Can't nobody rock with me like that. But I will say I did want to break the record for most rushing yards in a single season. But the fact that I'm active in the pass game kind of took away from that a little bit. And now y'all kind of see why I just wanted to strictly run and not get involved in the pass. Even though it was working for me. I wanted that record bad, bruh. And in the third quarter, with us being up 3, we had a costly fumble that Auburn will end up taking all the way to the house. And I couldn't believe it, bro. We don't even be turning the ball over like that. That fumble was completely shocking. He did get his bell wrong though, bro, so I can't even blame him. I was just trying to make sure that don't happen to me next. Cause them Auburn boys was definitely trying to knock the wind out of us. And I broke off for another huge game, really making it happen any way I can, bro. I just wanted to show everybody not only do I think I'm the best back in the conference, or the best running back in the world, bro, I think I'm the best college football player in the world. And I'm out to prove that this season. But the offense kept rolling this game and we kept putting points on the board, and that's exactly what we needed. Pretty soon the score was 20-17, and all we needed to do was just manage the clock and close the game out. We were still going against a good defense though, so it wasn't gonna be that easy. And just like we had a costly fumble, we had a costly pick. And not only was it a pick, it was a pick 6, bruh. And yes, I think that throw was a little bit forced. I mean, I wasn't even calling for it for real. I was just trying to still get open. But for some reason, the QB decided to throw it, man. And then we dug ourselves in a hole as the score ended up being 20-24. And we was fighting back in the fourth quarter. And I was still making people miss getting us down the field. And when we was in the red zone, man, that's when I turned it on, bruh. Broke off on the outside handoff, took that mug all the way to the house, and I had another touchdown for this game in the all black unis, by the way. You know what G Herbo said. All black, let's go do a hit. Hoodie on, they like, who is that? It's Nasir Swift. You already know who it is, man. And in the clutch, once again, the QB threw another pick that will seal our fate. And we was gonna take that L to Auburn in the game we really should have won, bruh. And I wasn't to the point where I was gonna blame our quarterback, but it is the second game, my guy, where you had 2 back-to-back picks. It's really not a good look, but I just tried to stay a good teammate and keep it pushing. I mean, it was a whole lot of football left to play, so on to Ole Miss. And I got right into that end zone right on cue, man. Looks like Ole Miss was missing somebody in coverage. It was either that or I was just moving real swift with it. I mean, it ain't like it's my last name or nothing, bruh. But anyway, we had the energy from our home crowd, and we really had every reason to win this game. And let me tell you, this was one of them ones where I was figuring out how to break every single tackle. I'm telling you, the first dude who come up to tackle me, he most likely gonna miss. And the second dude, he got about a 50% chance of missing, so try your luck if you want to. But while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and slide into the end zone one more time and put 6 more points on the board, man. Telling you, I was trying to get after it, bro. The goal ain't changed, the mindset ain't changed, and I'm still hungry for what I'm chasing. And man, 14-7, it still wasn't enough. We needed to extend the lead more, just in case we got into some late game trouble. And there was a few games already where that happened. But it came around to that point in the game where I was due for another highlight play, and man, let me tell you, I turned into the road runner, bro. I really tried to take that mug to the house, but luckily for the defense, they ended up catching me. I don't know what my top speed was on that run, but I'm pretty sure I could keep up with Sha'Carri Richardson. So if you listening, hit me up, man. I'm trying to get a one-on-one in, and then a one-on-one on the track too. But anyway, man, right back in that end zone where I belong, bruh. I'm telling you, putting up video game numbers on Heisman watch for real, bruh. I'll tell you what though, it ain't nothing like playing at the stadium in the nighttime. Seeing them fireworks in the night sky, bruh, is one of the coolest things I've witnessed since I got on campus. That and the double D's I've been seeing, but that's besides the point, man. As the game went on, I was not gonna stop until the clock hit 0, man. I wasn't sparing nobody. And it would be this game where I surpassed 3,000 career rushing yards, bruh. Really accomplishing all the milestones I set to get, but I still want to break that record in a single season and hit 2 bands in a single season, bruh. And if anybody could do it, I know it's me. Now we got that dub against Ole Miss, and we would have to go up against Texas next in a huge matchup. And speaking of huge, I broke off for a huge gain and took that mug to the house on my first touch of the game, bruh. My first touch was a touchdown, man. Hey, stop acting like y'all don't know what I do, bruh. Come on now, it's me. I had them Texas fans shook, bruh. They couldn't believe it. They like, on the first play of the game? Ain't no way. But the game was far from over, bruh. We ended up hitting them first, but they was gonna eventually hit back. And as a team, we just had to be ready for it. We had to weather the storm. And I was gonna continue to try to put us in the best position to score. But Texas had a good defense. Really, at this point, every team got a good defense. It's just all about how we attack it and how we can overcome it. But us as a team, we could do it. I think we could compete for the natty with the talent we got. And I'm talking about on the offensive end and defensive end and the coaching staff, really, from top to bottom. And if you don't want to believe it, man, you gonna mess around and find out. Just like the defense did on this play as we kept moving down the field. 13-14, it was real close. But next thing you know, it turned into 20-14. And we was just capitalizing every chance we got. And my goodness, I juked the social security number off of this defender and got right back in that end zone for 6. Somebody check on Buddy, man. Call Mercy Hospital immediately. Buddy needs some assistance. Hey, no bull though, I always like playing games like this, man. Anytime you're going against somebody that can get on that same level with you, or it might even be a little bit better, it's always more fun. And get to push you to your limits. See how much work you really put in and what you really can do. And we were showing we could keep up with these boys. Any day of the week, man, I'm taking Tennessee. It came to a point where we had put up over 30, and we was just trying to manage the clock. Just walk out of here with a smooth dub, not do nothing too stupid, not do nothing extra, and just finish. That's what it's all about, man. Just ask my girl. But in the blink of an eye, bro, we ended up throwing a bomb and took it all the way to the house. So we added more points to the board even though we didn't need to. Or maybe we did. You never know what Texas is capable of. But long story short, add another one to the column. We gonna keep on rolling with these dubs. And we deserved that one, bro. It was hard fought. We stayed determined the whole time and stayed together as a team. On to Mizzou, another team in the SEC that was tough. But they gotta see me though. If it's one thing I remember from this game, I tried to put the moves on somebody and ended up getting suplexed, bruh. Mind you, Mizzou is not that far from my hometown, so all of my family and friends just basically seen that, so I took it personal. Now, I gotta turn up on these boys, and for them, that is not good. But at this point in the season, I was in the top 2 in Heisman voting. The quarterback from Clemson was the only one ahead of me, but the way I've been performing game in and game out, I knew it was a high chance I could get that number 1 spot. Just like I knew it was a high chance I'd be getting in that end zone after getting body slammed a little earlier. I told y'all though, Mizzou did it to theyself. If I didn't end up going to Tennessee though, there was a high chance I would have went to Mizzou. I mean, I always wanted to be hometown hero. That's one of the best feelings ever. When you ballin' and you go to the same college or the closest college to your hometown, you gonna get so much love, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, I was already used to being away from home at Eastern Michigan, so being in Tennessee didn't bother me for real. And I forgot to mention in this game, I surpassed 500 receiving yards for the season. And that just goes to show you, I was really putting in that work catching the ball, not just running. But when it came to running, it was almost a guarantee I was going to get in that end zone, and this was my second touchdown of the game. I honestly don't know what happened, because Mizzou was playing us real tough in the first half, but the second half we just took off. And I ain't talking about just me, I'm talking about the entire team. From offense to defense, it just started to look like they couldn't hang with us. Pretty soon it was 21-10, and just when you thought they was finna turn things around and make something happen, we was on our way to the end zone once again. And it was clear as day that Mizzou, it just wasn't their day today. And we was gonna walk out of here with a dub pretty easy. But we did have a crazy play where the QB tried to scramble in there and fumbled, and the lineman ended up getting a rushing touchdown because he recovered it in the end zone. Hey, I know that's the highlight of bro career, can't even fake it. And I also got in that end zone a third time, man, not surprising. Coach would have taken me out, but at this point, everybody on the team wanted me to get that Heisman. And after we got the dub over Mizzou, we had to move on to Vandy. And y'all already know what I'm about to say. Straight out the gate, I came in guns blazing with a huge run on my first touch. That was kind of becoming a regular thing, but I almost got suplexed again, bruh. It's my fault though, I was trying to hurdle and be fancy, when really, I could just make a defender fall just like I did on this play. This one pretty much had the same story that a lot of these games this season then had. By the time halftime hit, we was up big and the game was already decided. In second half, you already know what time it was. It was time for me to go to work and pursue that 100-yard game and multiple touchdown game. I had a tough catch in this one, but it really wasn't about my receiving. I was putting in work on the ground, cause Vandy, them boys was not locked in whatsoever. But as soon as I was trying to get my second touchdown, them boys turned into superheroes. They was doing everything in their power trying not to let it happen. But you can't stop the inevitable. And eventually, I would get in the end zone once again, and this would be the game that put me over the top in the Heisman voting. All I had to do was finish a strong season, and I'll be taking that award home. Next up, we had another tough matchup against Oklahoma. And man, they came in our home stadium trying to get to it, but we was trying to get to it sooner. You get it? Come on, bro, you get it. The game plan was the same for me game in and game out. Go out there, play hard, and live with the results. And we was approaching that time in the season where I was starting to focus on postseason play. And I had never been there at Eastern Michigan, but he had a good rank, we was winning games, and we had a good chance to make it into the college playoffs. With the way the whole offense is performing, I thought we could beat anybody. I mean, putting up 30 against some of the top defenses is pretty crazy. But it's not just the fact that we was flowing. This team was battle tested, because we already went through those tough games where we should have won and eventually got back on our win streak. So any situation you could put us in the playoffs, we was gonna be alright. Just like I knew we was gonna be alright in this game. No Kendrick Lamar. But it was starting to get ugly for Oklahoma, bro. It came to a point in the game where I thought we was gonna shut them out. I mean, talk about highlight play after highlight play. The defense looked demoralized. The coach was yelling at all the players. and we was enjoying it on our sideline. It was one point in the second half where I went on a stretch where every time I told it to rock, I would be getting 10 plus yards every carry. First down after first down, I was moving us down that field easily. And I know I'm a elusive back, but hey, I might be a power back. I was running through them boys like it was nothing. I consider me a jack of all trades. I could run through you, juke you and make you miss, and be a receiving back. But at the end of the day, I'm a scorer. And I got in that end zone once again, man, just adding to the total for the season. And at this point, the Oklahoma fans was starting to head for the exits. But that didn't mean the onslaught was not going to keep continuing. Y'all probably not going to believe me, but I did not want to do them like that. Every time that fourth quarter came around, I would tell coach I could just chill on that sideline and let the backup get some work in. But he kept preaching the running back ain't won the Heisman in a minute, so he wanted that for me and then some. And I ended up getting my third touchdown of this game, and we was on to the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I can't cap. Getting some Chick-fil-A do be hidden after the games. But do y'all prefer Chick-fil-A or Cane's? Hey man, let me know. But anyway, game time. Need to focus. We going against Oregon, and them boys was tough all year. We watched from a distance, and we knew it was a chance we would have to see them in the playoffs, and here we go. But hey, I don't care who in front of us. Oregon Ducks, Oregon Sucks, Oregon Clucks. Tennessee and won. But you also got to keep in mind, this was the first game right after I found out I finished second in the Heisman voting. Now, did I think I got snubbed? Of course. So I was coming in this game not only wanting to get a win, but I was on a mission to prove that I was the real Heisman. And I still didn't understand it. I was a quarterback second team, and I was first team, but somehow he got the Heisman over me. I mean, even though we had a bye week, that really shouldn't be the deciding factor. I couldn't think about it too much though. I had to switch my focus to the national championship. I mean, winning the Heisman was something I wanted to do and definitely thought I was gonna do. But if I ain't gonna come away with that, we can at least come away with the natty. And we put on an onslaught versus Oregon. It looked like pretty much most of our regular season games. I was getting in the end zone, we put up 30 points, and our defense was shutting them down. They really wasn't as much of a threat as we thought, or maybe we was just better than we thought. Either way, we came in the Chick-fil-A Bowl and got a dub, and we was moving on to the next round of the college playoffs. And our opponent would be one that was way better than Oregon. We would have to go against Alabama, who was the number 2 team in the world. And man, I came straight out looking like a human joystick, making a bunch of people miss. But if you ask me at this point in time, this game was definitely the hardest one we had played that whole season. I mean, the teams were so evenly matched, and the game was tit for tat. It couldn't get no better than this. Honestly, it really didn't even come down to coaching. This game was all about who wanted it more. And trust me, it was a lot of guys on our team who wanted it more. But you could say the same thing for Alabama as well. And then there was those guys on each team who would get scared in a moment, but I wasn't one of those boys. I don't even think anybody on the offense was one of those boys. But after Alabama struck first, we were finally able to get in that end zone and put some points on the board. But hey, they came right back and did their thing too. This game was literally like an argument with your ex. Every time you thought you was winning and you had it finished, she would come right back and say something, and she thought she was winning and she had it finished. But we need to switch the topic, man. I am not trying to think about my toxic ex, and I know y'all not either. But what you should think about is how good this game was. It came to a point in the game where the team needed me to step up a little bit. And finally in the third quarter, after our first touchdown would be a receiving one, I finally got in that end zone and got back to doing what I usually do. And that's really all I needed. I just needed to get in that end zone one time, and then I basically had takeover the rest of the game, bro. I was super locked in, and I didn't think nobody was going to be able to stop me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't taking a lot of hits though. But hey man, winning was important than that. And even though I was wearing down and I was really low-key injured, I wasn't gonna let coach know nothing, cause I cared more about winning this game than anything. We was one game away from the national championship, so I had to perform. And my teammates needed me. It wasn't no way I was coming out this game. Toward the end of the fourth quarter though, I was really starting to feel it, bruh. But you know what they say, no pain, no gain. And it was definitely a lot of pain. I don't think y'all boys understand, but we couldn't close the deal in the fourth quarter, and neither could Alabama. So this game would be headed into overtime. And a lot of people would agree that this was the best game that happened all year. I mean, it was electric from start to finish. And with the score 24-24 in overtime, we punched it into the end zone and put some points on the board, and it was looking like we had a good shot. But Alabama came back swinging, and we came back swinging, and they came back swinging. It was really like a boxing match, bruh. And with a chance to end the game, I don't know why coach decided not to hand the ball off to me when we was literally in the red zone. And for some reason we tried to do a play action and our quarterback fumbled. The emotions immediately hit me like a truck. I was angry and it was bittersweet. A heartbreaking end to a wonderful season.